Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Dan Richard Fishing, and today we're going to be following up on the progress of getting my trim motor repaired. So this is my Mercury power trim that in one of my previous videos I had taken off the boat. I showed you guys how to remove it, and I sent it over to a company called 5 Star Marine located in Florida. So 5 Star Marine was a place that was recommended to me for rebuilding these trims. Now this particular trim, you couldn't really find a rebuild kit, and I mean it was in pretty rough shape, so it needed a full rebuild, which of course is a service that's offered by 5 Star. That's what they're known for. So I put them to the test, and about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, I sent this over to them. Here is my experience. So first of all, 5 Star Marine is owned by a guy named Devin, and he has a whole support staff there. It's definitely not a one-man show. There's a whole bunch of people that work there, and they have different, they've got like a rebuild department and a parts department and all that sort of thing. And these guys are very well known for doing this. I saw the reviews, they seem pretty good. So I contacted them. Customer support was very quick, got back to me the very next day. You can also call them, their number's on the website. They responded really quick. So I was super happy with that service. And when I called, I checked just to get some information on the pricing. So the price to rebuild the Merc power trim that I have here was $525 US. Plus I had to cover shipping to them and cover shipping to come back. Now, if you're in the US, return shipping anywhere in the US is $20. For me in Canada, they gave me a great price. It cost me $40 to get it shipped back to me. So that was a fantastic price. So no complaints there. And so $525 US was the price plus any parts. Now the beauty of these guys is they don't charge you labor on top of the parts. So it's $525, that's the labor for refinishing it. Any parts that they add are at cost, okay? So if a part costs $50, they'll charge you the $50. There's no added labor or anything like that. $525 is all they're gonna charge you for the labor, unless they need to bore or drill out anything, stuff like that. But the standard rebuild is that. But they did warn me that there could be additional charges based on what it required, which I was fine with, whatever. Don't forget, these trims cost $1,300 brand new. So anything under $1,300 would be a savings. So I went ahead, shipped it out via UPS, got it there pretty quick, sent them an email letting them know it was on the way, and right away they confirmed thanks for the heads up, and that was it. 10 days later, so from the day that I shipped it, 10 days later, it's back in my hands. So they received it, it took 2 days, they worked on it, it only took maybe 5 days for them to complete all the work and sent it back to me. So really impressed with the turnaround time. If you're in the US, it's even quicker, so very happy. Considering I had to send this to another country, fantastic. Now, let's talk about the price. How did we do on the price? The total price I ended up paying was $725 plus $40 for shipping. So let me break down exactly what they charged me. Let me show you the invoice. Okay, so here's the invoice right here. And you know what? We'll just pull it up on the screen and I'll read off what we did. So you can see first thing was a bore and refinish of the cylinder. So that was $50. Then they needed to add the ram cap, and they did warn me that the ram cap might need to be replaced. So the ram cap is the very top. Over time, because of the pressure of the ram as well as the pressure of the motor on top of it, it actually warps that cap. So they did warn me that I'd probably need to replace it. So that was $63. And then there's the overall rebuild cost, which was $525. They had to replace the manual release valve on the side, which was $36.99, and then they had to add a new single ram valve assembly for $50. So first thing I did when I got that was, is it true that they actually do charge you the cost of the part? So I went online and I went shopping for these exact parts. They even give you the part numbers, which is helpful. I went online and sure enough, the cost that they charged me was the price that I was seeing on websites online. And in some cases, their cost was even cheaper. So they absolutely do just charge you the price of the parts, which is fine with me. And then they charged me the $40 on top of that. So total price was $764.99, which is about half price of a brand new unit. And the best part is you get a 2-year warranty. If you were to buy this brand spanking new, you get 1 year. So not only did I pay half the price, I actually got double the warranty. So super happy with this, really happy with the service, really happy with the turnaround. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and pop it back onto the motor. Now for those of you that missed it, we did put out a video, go check it out. It's how to remove this thing. And it really went into detail, step by step, exactly how I did it. And today I'm just gonna do the reverse of that. So we'll quickly go through it, but not in heavy detail. If you really wanna see it up close and take your time, please go and check out the other video. I'll put a link in the description below of how to remove a Mercury power trim. One more thing, guys, don't forget, if you like this content, if you found it helpful, help me grow the channel by liking this video. Just hit the like button, it takes 2 milliseconds. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you sub. And of course, bell notification, that way you know the next time I have a video. Okay, now let's go. All right, let's get our shiny, refurbished, reconditioned, rebuilt trim in. There we go. Then we'll go ahead and put in the primary pin here. Just tap that in. And I'm gonna just tap it until it's flush. There we go. And your tri-lobe pin goes under here. Find the hole. There we go. Tri-lobe pin goes in here. There we go. Tri-lobe pin is in, and the trim is set. There's a bolt here that stops it from falling out. And yeah, so now we'll just go ahead and push our wiring through, get the wiring set up. I'm going to temporarily connect it to move up the ram. So that way it comes into here and I can go ahead and pin it in place. All right, we're ready to reinstall it. Now you can see there's actually a hose right here. This needs to go above the ram. So that goes above where it connects, and then this goes inside. So you can see it's right here, okay? So that's how that's placed. We're gonna go ahead and line this up, put in our pin. So remember, this is the side that has the trim position sensor, so that needs to go on the right, okay? So go ahead and put it in through here. Then we're gonna need to line up the pin right here. So I'm gonna get the camera out of the way because I can't really see with the camera here, and we'll just make sure that this is all in the right position. Now I'm just lining up the hole for the tri-lobe pin. That actually looks pretty good like that. Let's go ahead and put the tri-lobe in. There we go, we're in. Perfect. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and put in our position sensor. So that should all line up like so. And there you go, guys. That is the trim position sensor. So guys, here's a wire that needs to be repaired. This is for the sensor. So you can see the sheathing actually is all busted here, and it's also cut here, and the wire's actually exposed. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a new piece of heat shrink, put it over this entire section, and I'm just gonna repair this whole area so it's protected and not split open like this. I want to be careful because this is very soft stuff, so if I hold the heat gun to it too much, the old sheathing is just going to melt right off. Good, we'll just let this cool off, and then we'll go ahead and start running our wires through. Now in our last video, these were a little difficult to pull through, so we had to kind of cut off some of the sheathing here so that I could run them like this, one at a time. So we're gonna try it again now and see if I can get them through this way, but I have a funny feeling there's gonna be some swearing.
Three days later.
They must take this grommet off and put it in after, because this is like impossible. They got to pull this grommet out for sure. There's no way that's coming through there. There we go. Okay. I guess it's a bit easier. All right. I got the grommet out. I'm going to put the grommet back on and then squeeze it through. So there's the grommet. I just took the grommet out. I think this will be a lot easier. All right, now let's just put these through like normal human beings instead of this craziness we're trying to do. There we go. That's easier. Okay, we've pulled the wires through. Now I'm going to put the grommet back on. I'll put it over the wires, and then I'm just going to push it down into the hole and clip it in. All right, I finally got it, guys, and all I did was on the grommet, I actually put some dish soap on it, and that helped me pop it in place. So before you put in the wires, pop out the grommet, fish the wires through, put the grommet back on, feed it through the top. It's a little tough. I use that and a kind of like one of these little leverage bars here. And that was it, got her in. All right, our wires are passed. They're not fastened down yet on the outside, but next up we gotta put together the trim pieces and we gotta put our cowl back on. So let's get the whole motor back together. Now while I'm putting these in, I actually noticed that I am missing a couple. So those have fallen off at some point, I never noticed. So when I go, next time I go to the dealership, I'm gonna go ask them for some extra bolts. So I'm missing, actually I'm just missing one, two. Yeah, we're missing two of them, so not great. So we'll make sure we'll get a couple of them. And then one of the last steps will be to secure these two wires here with the clamps to this point right here. And then we've got one more thing to do and we're good to go. Next up, we'll add some tie wraps like before. So there was two here, one here. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have enough wire here so that if your motor falls all the way here when it's trimmed up, you've got enough slack. So make sure that you've given yourself enough. And then last but not least, we'll go and replace our zinc plate that goes on the bottom of the trim bracket that helps prevent the corrosion. So there's actually a little wire that goes from the trim to this. So we'll get under there and go connect this and we are good to go. All right guys, let's give it a final test. And by the way, I'm also checking the trim motor position gauge over there and it's working great. So let's make sure it bottoms out when this bottoms out. There we go, trim gauge is all the way at the bottom. Nice. All right guys, there you go, that's it, we're done. Trim is on, tested, we got everything back in place and everything is working great. So far my experience with 5-Star Marine has been awesome. The trim rebuild worked, super happy, saved like half the money that I would have spent if I would have bought it brand new. So I can't complain with that. Just overall an awesome experience and now I got a 2-year warranty, so we're good to go. Cleaned it all up, we're all set. I did notice one little thing that's a bit scary though. When I took off the cover, I noticed as soon as I lifted it off in the bottom of the tray area, I found 2 of these bolts just sitting there. And not only did I find these 2 bolts, I found the valve cover. There was a 3rd bolt that was like lifted off. So it was about halfway out. So this came from the valve cover. So there's 2 bolts that came off and one that's fairly loose. And one of the holes I actually can't get out of. So I'm actually gonna bring this in for its oil change. I still haven't done the oil change from last year. So we're gonna get the oil change done, fuel filter, all that good stuff. And I'm gonna ask him to check the valve cover and get this back on there because there's a whole bunch of parts that need to come off. And I'm wondering if the gasket needs to be changed because there is quite a bit of oil residue inside the motor that seems concerning. So we're gonna get that checked out. But we'll get it done in the next week or two. And if we get enough thaw, if it warms up enough for the pre-spawn walleye bite, we'll be fishing the last week of March with any luck. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, thanks a lot. That's it. Hope you enjoyed this episode. So good job. 5-Star Marine, don't hesitate if you want to use them. And guys, as always, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. And that's it. We'll see you guys on the next video, all right? Peace.